Welcome, gamers from around the globe. You've dropped into the best place for Game Pass news. That's right, it's the Game Pass Tracker Show. This is episode 138, recorded live Tuesday, January 30th. I'm Nick Metzger here with the best dang co-host a guy could ever have, the best bro-tato I know, Mr. Sean Abbott himself. We're going to fill your brains with all this week's bits and bobs of Xbox. Like you got all kinds of stuff going on, new drops of games, unreleased Call of Duty stuff, Vision of Mana, maybe not coming out when we thought it was, or not to who we thought it was, and are physical games trashed? Yeah, you better sit down. You better buckle up, because Game Pass Tracker Show is one crazy ride.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to today's show. We just want to welcome you all to your favorite Xbox Game Pass podcast, the Game Pass Tracker Show. You can find us on pretty much every social networking app that is out there. Just search for @Game Pass Tracker. If you have any thoughts or questions, do not hesitate to shoot us an email. To do that, it is show@gamepasstracker.com. And if you try really hard, you could be the second person to email us out with a question, because the only person who's done it so far is Bruce. If you're liking what you're hearing, we'd love it if you could leave us a review on your podcast app of choice. My personal podcast app is Spotify. It really helps us grow and reach more fans. We wouldn't be a Game Pass show if we didn't talk about the big daddy itself, Xbox Game Pass. If you love Game Pass, if you love our show, and you want to show us any support, you can head to the link in the description and sign up to Game Pass within the next 24 hours from the Xbox.com website. You'll not only be supporting us as an affiliate, but also the Game Pass Tracker Show. You will also be signing up to the best gaming subscription out there. It's got some absolutely awesome games right now. Sign up to whatever level you desire, whether that be the PC Game Pass, Core, or one that I'm in, and Nick, Game Pass Ultimate. Just play your own way. By using the code in the chat or the show notes, you'll help us to continue to create the awesome content that we'd like to create for you, our amazing fans. Yeah. So without further ado, let's head into the Game Pass headlines.
Sean, I'm not really sure what happened there, but I kind of liked it. I don't know. Maybe you need to try that for a podcast or something. You know, I could go pirate. Maybe you could do a little R every once in a while. You just keep your thing going. Game Pass headlines, shirts, people. It's where we tell you what's coming out this week. We have 2 games, and my bro-tato here has been playing one of them, which is aptly named Bro-tato.
Bro-tato.
So, yeah, and that is out as of today, out everywhere, all the places. And then coming out on Friday, a game that I know there's a lot of people have been looking forward to, can't wait for, February 2nd, Persona 3 Reload, also out everywhere. So those are the games that are out this week. And we will talk more about Bro-tato, by the way. I know normally we kind of go over the games and what they are. You'll get to hear all about Bro-tato a little bit later in the show. Sean will break it down for you. And everybody knows what Persona 3 is. I mean, we got a good idea what that is. So what is out next week, Sean?
Next week, sorry, you're gonna have to bear with me. Somebody has stolen the Bluetooth in my house and has taken over my headphones. I'm currently listening to Grey's Anatomy.
All right, you take care of that if you want.
I'm back.
Okay.
I am back. No, I can hear you now in my ears rather than through the laptop. Out next week is a new chart. That's coming out February 6th, and that is coming out everywhere. I am gonna have to very quickly do my link because, you know. I love it. Lindsay can't sleep, so she's currently watching something and doing a walk right above my head.
You got a good mic because I don't even hear it. I mean, if somebody was doing that above my head, I don't know. Or you got good soundproofing.
I wouldn't say soundproofing. She's just not stepping on somewhere that you can hear it squeaking.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, a new chat. The Kingdom of a new chat has fallen. Generations after the collapse, its surviving descendants have chosen you to become the bell wielder of the magical Odrus ball. Go forth, battle monsters, solve puzzles, and restore a new chat to its former skyward glory. Is the blurb for that game.
Man, I don't know. I just realized that I don't really know anything at all about this game.
No, I haven't seen anything either. I've not seen any tiles. I've not seen any not from them not being there. I just haven't looked. To be honest, I have had a very busy weekend, so I have not looked at anything. I've kind of not had my head in the gaming world, and the only free time I've had has been this evening, and I ended up playing Brotato instead of doing research.
Well, that was research. I mean, come on. That was good research. You're going to tell us all about that research in a little bit. This game has me interested because of its mystery. Let me say that. I don't know. I love a good game when I'm just like, I don't know, I'm about to jump into. I could see myself downloading this game just because, why not? Try it out. Plus, it's got cool things like Bell Wielder and Magical Odrus. Don't know if I'm saying that right, Bell. So anyway, so that is what's coming out next week. Leaving. Am I right about that? Yeah, leaving tomorrow. So you got like a day, basically, at this point. A day to take care of this, folks. Hitman.
Yeah, good luck playing both of these games in a day.
Yeah. Hitman World of Assassination. It's everywhere, and it's leaving everywhere at the end of tomorrow. And then F1 21 Cloud and Console is leaving as well tomorrow. But no fear, you have F1 23 that just came out a couple weeks ago or something like that. So if you miss 21 and you're like, dang it, then just go play 23. It's probably better anyways, I would imagine. So.
Yep.
And as I say, if you're interested in beating these, which is too late for, so don't even try that. So if you're interested in buying it, though, you can get 20% off with your Game Pass sub. So get out there and do that. Buy it before it leaves, and you get 20% off. So there's an idea.
Yep, it's very true, very true. And if I was you, I wouldn't go buy F121 just because there's 2022 and 2023 out there. But World of Assassination, I'm tempted to purchase myself because I wanted to play it before it left Game Pass, and I have realized now I am running out of time. So I might go and buy that while it's 20% cheaper.
Nice. Not a bad idea.
Just very, very quickly, we did have 2 new Game Pass games announced just in the last couple of days. One of them being Open Roads, which is unfortunately been delayed by a month. So rather than it coming out on the 22nd of February, it's going to be coming out on the 28th of March. And Open Roads is one of the most anticipated arrivals for February 2024. But yeah. But unfortunately, it's just what they said. It's unfortunately it's seen a slight delay from its previous announcement. They haven't really put an explanation as to why it's out there. But yeah, I mean, this game was looking fun. It looks interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a month, so it's got to be close to done, right? I mean, I don't know.
This
gotta be a reason.
This is either got to be some form of rendering issue which won't take long to fix, or I don't know. Can't imagine them being a massive issue for it to only be like a month in delay.
Yeah, or just slots better. And then I don't know, just slots better next month.
Yeah. And then MLB The Show has been announced. I think that was announced today around 5 p.m. that it is coming to Game Pass on March 19th. So if you're a big fan of the MLB series, you have a new one coming soon, which will probably see the previous one, because I think it's still on. We'll probably see the previous one leaving Game Pass sometime in February.
Yeah, more than likely. Super exciting to see the MLB The Show coming to Xbox, especially coming to Game Pass. I think it's awesome. Happened now the last couple of years. I think this is the 3rd year, if I'm correct, that this has been dropping on Game Pass. So
yeah, I think it forms part of the EA Play business that you get as being a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber.
Sure. Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah, so that's a good. Yep. That's a I believe that is correct. You don't get this unless you're an Ultimate member. Pretty sure about that.
But we will, just to clear that up, we will, as we get closer to the time and we're going to talk about the game a little bit more, we will make sure we have that information for you. So,
yes, sir.
So just remember, though, if you are looking for any information on games that are coming out, anything like that, you can head over to gamepassnews.com, or you can follow the Game Pass Tracker Show on Twitter at Game Pass Tracker Show. They tend to drop everything that's happening there.
100%. Well, let's go into the X feed. All right, folks. Well, we're about to tell you about everything that's been happening, is happening, what's coming out, and not what's coming out, but what stories have been unrolling in the last week or so. And Sean, why don't you start us off with this one, because you know more about it than, well, I do.
Well, yeah, okay. So there has been a leak of some footage and some gameplay pictures and some title pictures and some title kind of footage from an unreleased Call of Duty game called Project NX1. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, oh dear, somebody's been really, really annoyed and dropped like some unreleased footage or some early access footage of the new upcoming Call of Duty game for 2024. Because as we all know, Modern Warfare 3 came out last year, and it's one of those kind of titles that comes out year on year. But the more I read the article and followed it a little bit, it turns out this was an unreleased footage of a game from the Xbox 360 era that they called NX1, which later on in the time they brought out Call of Duty Ghosts. But looking at the gameplay footage and the title footage, this to me kind of says more along the lines of it being the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare from around that time as well. Just with the title sequence, the menu sequence, and some of the gameplay being one of the levels I can't now remember the name of. But yeah, I mean, this to me looks as if I think I'm having some very bad internet issues.
Uh-oh. You're somewhat okay. You were a little scraggly there for a second, but you're okay now. I am interested in that. Yeah. If you need to work on that, I think it's interesting that it was going to be called, or at least they were working on an iteration of it apparently in this leak that that was going to be called Future Warfare. Whoever decided to make the change to Modern Warfare, kudos to you, because Modern Warfare sounds way better than Future Warfare. As Sean alluded to, this isn't much of a leak, really. It's quite a few years old, almost a decade old at this point. But still, leak's a leak. You know, you shouldn't do it. Like, come on. So that is Call of Duty and the Visions of Mana. Now, this is an interesting one, folks, because we talked about this last week when we talked about the Developer Direct. We said that we were pretty sure since it made it onto a Developer Direct where everything was being released on Game Pass, that at some point it was going to be announced that Visions of Mana was also going to be released on Game Pass, because that just made sense. Unfortunately, that great idea and wonderful thought was not true. Xbox says here, we are aware that Xbox.com included language that indicated Visions of Mana was coming to Xbox Game Pass and can confirm this was an error, unfortunately. While we are always updating the library and looking for new ways to provide members with value and choice, we do not have plans to bring Visions of Mana to Game Pass at this time. So that's unfortunate for Game Pass fans. I think also, are you back with us, Sean?
I'm back with it. I just got unexpected people being awake at this time, also using the internet in the house. So
Gotcha.
As fast as my internet speeds can be, we're still hindered by the bandwidth with Wi-Fi.
Totally get it. It's a thing. So I just didn't want to keep rolling by myself if you were here. I think this is an F. Well, I don't say an F up. I think a deal fell through. I think they were chatting and they were like, Game Pass sounds great. Now, this is just my thoughts. This is not hard fact in any way, folks. So let me preface that. I think a deal fell through here. they were chatting, and one side said Game Pass sounds great, and the other side said Game Pass sounds great, and they said we're going to put it in the developer direct. Sounds good. We're going to lock this baby up. And then somewhere after the developer direct, one side said, and I would imagine it was Square Enix side, said, Game Pass no longer sounds great. And so it all fell apart. Because why would it be in a developer direct where everything's part of Game Pass when they knew that this wasn't going to be part of Game Pass? It makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, they never alluded to anything. To me, anyway, they never alluded to it. To coming to Game Pass day one. They never said that in the direct. It was not in any of the imagery during the direct.
That's true.
And they are pretty straightforward with it. But the fact that it was in there in the developer direct with everything else that was coming to Game Pass day one kind of hinted ever so slightly that, yes, this could be involved. But yeah, a bit of a mix-up. And that's probably because they just weren't to the point with it. If they'd have turned around and said during the direct, unfortunately, this isn't coming to Game Pass day one, but we're really excited to be able to bring this this title and franchise to the Xbox platform for the first time, then that would have maybe cleared things up. So, which they did say. They did say that they were excited to be bringing the franchise and the title to the Xbox platform. They just didn't indicate that it wasn't going to come into Game Pass subscribers, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I do kind of wonder if this is going to be a Game Pass title. If maybe there's some like push and pull of when it comes to Game Pass. So I know, I'm just pushing the ball down the road because that's what I do. But I just feel like something's still there. And so they're like, hey, that Square Enix is like, listen, we don't want this to be a day one Game Pass launch. And so the two of them are still kind of figuring out when it comes to Game Pass. Is it 6 months? Is it 8, a year? What is it going to be? I do think you'll see it on Game Pass. Last year, the two companies said, as the article states, that they are committed to partner closely on upcoming Square Enix titles, but apparently not too closely. So, but it's still coming. It's still on the Xbox platform. It's just not going to be on Game Pass right now. Is not going to be on Game Pass at all. So not just day one. They could no intention at the moment.
They could bring this title to Xbox, see how well it does and how received it is in the Xbox community, and then at a later date come along with the next title coming to Game Pass. This could be just a test bed. So we might see it. We might see future titles, but maybe not this one.
Yeah. Very, very much could be the case. Or maybe they just want to see if they can get, 6 months of sales out of it before they drop it on Game Pass. We shall see what happens. But just so you know, now we know it is not coming to Game Pass as of right now. Yep. Moving on. Hey, your Game Pass is getting perkier. New updates for your Game Pass. New perks, for your Game Pass have dropped. Some of them you might be interested, so we thought we would kind of just relay them here. F123 Champions upgrade. You can grab that. Mighty Doom. That's a mobile game. Go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
It is mobile. The Champions upgrade. You get 4 new My Team racing icons and a little bit more with your EA Play membership. So I've just got a list of what it includes in front of me.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Mighty Doom. How do you say this damn name? I mean, I played this game for like a ridiculous this mobile game for a ridiculous amount of time. What is this guy's name? The Cacao Demon? What? How do you say?
Cacao Demon.
Cacao. Oh, I love it. Yeah, the Doom guy's like a Cacao Demon. Come on, you know how this is done. Yeah. So claim the Cacao Demon cosmetics and more. What else do you get other than the Cacao Demon, Sean?
So you get. Obviously, the skin for your mini Slayer to wear, which actually looks pretty cool. Also comes with as an Xbox cosmetic, so the large BFG, which, if you know what that means, big fucking gun. Comes, so you get an Xbox skin for that gun, a Cacao Demon cosmetic for the heavy cannon, and a lot more as well. So it's just a shame that it's all just in Mighty Doom and not like in Doom Eternal.
Yeah, Yeah, I get you. But hey, here we are. We had a perkier feature, and it got Doom in the podcast. So what more do you want, Sean? I mean,
this is true. How can we work on this for next week?
It's like, it reminds me of like Meet the Parents, where it's like, you can't say bomb on a plane. It's like, you gotta say Doom on this podcast. Doom, Doom, Doom. You gotta say Doom. So we got Doom in there. So that's all that matters. That matters.
Yeah. So Nakara Bladepoint gets some Xbox headgear as well. So if Season 11 bundle, you get an Xbox headgear, some rare cosmetics, some new season treasures, free legendary skins with some free trials, and a head start to Season 11 with experience boost cards. If you are a Fantasy Star Online player, you get a monthly member bonus there, so you can jump into all new Fantasy Star Online 2 new Genesis with some items to give you a hand and a half. You get half scape dolls. You get 6 of those to help revive you during intense battles. Some photon chunks, which you get 50 off to strengthen your weapons and units. If you're a big Sims player, which I haven't played Sims for a long time, never mind playing it on the Xbox, you can help celebrate the Sims 4's 24th birthday with us. So you get a gift to you, which is a Jungle Adventure game pack with your EA Play membership. And for those Turbo Golf players, which me and Nick have been at one point, we enjoyed playing the Turbo Golf game. It was a good laugh. You can drive off in the Pups car body, the Goldie Ball, Guzzle Shield, Not Spoiler, Treats Wheels, Party Golf, Fur Finish, and Kibble Boost. These perk contents require that you play Turbo Golf Racing to use them.
Is that all the perkies? Is that all the perkier our Game Pass subscription is?
That is how much perky it is, yes.
I love it.
Perked up to the maximum.
I believe so. Our next story, Call of Duty General Manager Johanna Faries is announced as Mike Ybarra's replacement for Blizzard president. So now you know what we get to do. You know what we get to do next week? We get to talk about who gets to be the Call of Duty general manager at that point.
Oh, I think she might hold on to that title as well.
You think she's going to be both? You think she's... Oh, I didn't think about that. Dang.
Yeah, this is what I mean. The slimlining the company, so you might as well have 2 roles. If they can absorb those 2 things into one, she could be the AB president.
I mean, dang, that seems like a lot of work, but it's certainly possible. So let me just read a little bit of what we got here. Who is this following the departure? Who's talking? That's always the question we ask. Who is talking today?
So Fraser Gilbert was the writer for this that we're reading from.
I think it's actually her. It's actually Johanna Faries. Though my official first day with you all is February 5th, I want to let you know immediately that it is an honor to join you next week in this new capacity. I do so humbly and in awe of all that Blizzard has stood for and delivered to the world for over 30 years. Today also brings some mixed emotions. The loss of talented teammates in recent days is hard to hold side by side with the immense excitement I feel about joining Blizzard and joining on the momentum you've created for Blizzard's next chapter. I appreciate her. I appreciate, you could be deaf and not hit on the fact that Microsoft just cut 1,900 jobs, and she'd be like, look at me, look what I got to do, But I do appreciate that she sees both aspects, and she put that in her statement. So I'm glad she wasn't tone deaf on that part. So very excited to see what she does, and happy for her. So way to go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if she does hold both positions, or like you say, in a week's time, are we going to be talking about somebody else taking over the general manager? But yeah, Faries has been working with the Call of Duty team since August 2018. She originally adopted the role of a commissioner for the Call of Duty esports before becoming the general manager for the brand in April 2021. Prior to her arrival at Activision Blizzard, she spent 11 years with the NFL, rising to the role of vice president in club business development. So pretty good CV. In a memo to staff, Xbox Matt Booty stated that Faries has impressed has impressed with her thoughtful, considerate, and focused approach to leadership, and that she brings with her a very deep commercial and entertainment experience.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so we will see. I bet I would bet money that we got a new GM coming. That's too much. That's too much stuff for one person to have to take on. But we'll see. We'll see. Hey, just as a good reminder, if you were watching any of the championship, the conference games this Sunday, Microsoft sure wanted you to remember that the second season of Halo is coming out on Paramount, because they did a little ad on each one, and I thought it was interesting that the Halo main actor, who's this guy's? I don't know his name. Where'd it go? Why am I always searching for names, Sean? I really should do a better job about that.
Pablo Schreiber.
Oh, there it is. Pablo Schreiber. Yeah. He had some comments about the community being upset about him taking his helmet off, which, I mean, as I've said on here before, he took a lot more than his helmet off, but whatever. So I thought it'd be interesting to touch on this. He says people who don't feel the helmet was necessary to come off, they're at such an early conception of what this show could be. In order to examine the discrepancy between these two versions of the character, you can't tell that story without taking the helmet off. If you don't agree with the helmet coming off in the show, you don't like the show. You don't like our show, which I guess that's fair and factual. So there's no point discussing it. So he's not mentioning words with this community. He's like, listen, love it or leave it, basically, I guess is what he's saying. Which, according to my Twitter, there was a lot of people leaving it. I actually like the show. You have not seen it, is that correct?
I haven't seen it, and I can completely understand and relate to why people would be upset about this. It's like exactly the same as like I'd be upset if they made a live action version of Doom where, you know, they had the Doom guy take his helmet off and gave him a face. Because everybody has the idea for me when I'm playing the Doom guy is I can imagine myself being the Doom guy, because this is a faceless, you know, protagonist, like main lead in a game where you can imagine yourself being inside the suit and being that person. And lots of people who play Halo could have exactly the same feeling as I do. And then now they have given a live action representation to this guy, to this person in a fantasy kind of aspect, have now given him a face. So a lot of people that might have destroyed the feeling of I could be Master Chief, because now they've given him this face. So I can kind of understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, from a producer standpoint, is this you now have a relationship with the guy behind the mask, so you're probably going to be more emotionally attached to the fact that Master Chief is an actual person, not just a faceless heroic figure. So it was a gamble to take, and it looks like, you know, the gamble 50-50. You've got a load of people that have fallen off it because they don't want it, but then you've got people like yourself that still really enjoyed the show regardless. So
yeah, and to be fair, I'm not like a Halo purist, right? Like I don't know all the lore of Halo. I can't keep up with it all. There's way too much. Like there's just like I can't do it. But you know, it's interesting. So to go back to a conversation we were having pre-podcast about Ready Player One, where you said you're reading the book and you really like it and you're waiting for the car chase scene. Spoiler alert, there's no car chase scene in the book. I read the book first and then watched the movie. I enjoyed the movie less because I read the book and I was like, no, I don't like this because I like the book more and I want it to be more like the book. But if I'd never read the book, I would have enjoyed the movie and I would have been like, this is a sweet movie. I love it. Right? So it's kind of one of those things, like for people who have played all the games and know the lore and they're like pointing out stuff like that doesn't really fit. Why is he taking off his helmet? Why is this? I totally get it. Like I don't relate with this particular instance, but I know why you feel the way you do. Like I've felt that way before about other things that relate like that. So I get it. So and that's fine. And you're right. It really was a crapshoot. I'm sure they were trying to figure it out. I personally would not relate to Master Chief in that series if he kept his helmet on the entire time. It just it would feel weird, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
So
also, by the way, before the podcast, Nick spoiled the book for me. So, you know.
I did not spoil the book. I just spoiled that there wasn't a car chase scene.
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm not actually reading the book. I've got 2 books already on the go that I'm reading. I'm listening to this book. I'm listening to the great Will Wheaton read it, which is fantastic, by the way. The only thing I know Will Wheaton for is playing himself in The Big Bang Theory, so it just makes me laugh. But yeah, it's really good read of the book. I'm very much enjoying it. Thank you very much, Will Wheaton, and thank you very much, Spotify, for having him narrate it. So.
Yeah, he does it. I listen to it on Audible as well. He does it. I think he just kind of is the one that did it on all of them, and it's
okay.
I was trying to find out when Halo Season 2. Oh, February 8th. So just in like a week or so, something like that. Let me see. Yeah, a week and a couple days.
I think it says it at the bottom of that. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Why didn't I look there?
No, it doesn't. It says, we at this point we're mere weeks away. It says, so it doesn't actually give it a date.
So the great Tim, who is in our the Nintendo Dad Tim, who's in our chat, says, why can't we have both? Character leaves his helmet on in the game, but in the show he takes the helmet off. It helps give him an identity in the show. Exactly what Sean said. You grow with the character more attached. So yeah, I think that's very possible. I think that's something you grow into. So like as a Mario fan, I think the community has gotten used to wanting one thing in a video game and being okay with seeing something else in a different medium. I don't know that the Halo community has seen enough of Master Chief outside of a video game to kind of like get used to that. And they very well may get used to it and probably are going to have to. But at this point, I think there's still some holdouts of like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. Like, just give me what I know and what I love. But when that IP grows, not only grows like in video games, but grows in other mediums, then you have to cater to how that medium runs. And you're probably right.
One of the ways around this is if Microsoft Studios and adapt the fact that the guy has now taken his helmet off and bring that into the video game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can give Master Chief, because we've always said, Master Chief, why isn't Master Chief like the official mascot of Halo? So you can't have really a masked person because you have no relationship to a masked person. But now he has a face. You bring that face into the game, you could possibly bring him and that face as a mascot to Halo. And they could very well go and do that with the next like large Halo installment. They could, have him in scenes where they've used the actor to go and do like Hellblade 2 style facial recognition stuff and facial tracking, and have him now as the face of Master Chief.
Mm-hmm. Well, we all know the next Halo game is going to be a crafty survival one, so that'll be great. I'm just kidding. We don't know that. I just made that up. Just to like totally set off any Halo person that didn't know that was totally untrue.
There is currently people losing their minds everywhere.
So yeah, I'm interested to see it. Not interested. I'm excited to have the second season of Halo, and I will be running to it more than likely. So yay, it gives me something more to run to on the treadmill. Let's do it. Those are the end of our top stories, folks. We are going to go into our news bulletins, of which we have 2 of, and Sean is going to do both of them because I can't say the name of the first one. It's impossible. I can't do it.
So, Forza Motorsport, if you're a big fan of Forza Motorsport and you're a massive fan of the Nürburgring, especially the Nordschleife, which means North Loop, if you're a big fan of the huge 20-kilometer track, which, let's be honest, if you are a motorsport fan and you are a racing fan, you have definitely driven a car on a track around this track specifically, And you've probably watched a lot of people do it as well. It's one of the most anticipated tracks that's been coming to the game. It's also one of the most widely used tracks for people in car simulating games anywhere. This track is awesome. It's one of my favorites to drive. My dad uses it a lot when his VR racing rig that he runs. And it's coming a week earlier, or at least a month earlier than anticipated. This wasn't supposed to be coming out until later on in the year, like spring 2024. So we were looking like April time, and it's actually going to come out at the back end of February in update number 5. Very quickly, the statement they put is: the Nordschleife is a testament to the racing history with a notorious reputation. Legends have been born on this track, while others have suffered tough defeats. With several challenging turns, steep climbs, and long straights, not to mention an elevation of nearly 300 meters, the Nordschleife is the ultimate test of endurance for racers and manufacturers alike. I can't wait. I will be doing a lot of driving around this track because it is one of my favorite ones. It's got some legendary corners in it, one being the carousel, which is a massively off-camber corner. So, yeah.
I am very excited for you, Sean. Also, I didn't even sound like English there at the beginning. I couldn't even I didn't sound like, but I know you're so good at it. I'm like, I literally was like, I'm going to put this in news bulletins because I have no idea how to say any of this. And you're like, don't worry, I got this. So, kudos. And I'm excited for your, track.
I see, yeah. And the second news bulletin, I thought you'd be super excited for this because, you've been waiting for this game for a long time.
Well, I was excited 100 years ago when it first came out, and I was like, am I going to play Hogwarts or Skull and Bones? But anyways, so the news bulletin is Skull and Bones is getting a beta ASAP. I'm not entirely certain why anyways, they're getting a beta. You can pre-download.
It's coming out next month.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's coming out next month. The open beta is
February 16th.
February 11th. So the game comes out on the 16th. So this is you get a beta. Next month, you will be able to do a beta of the game.
This is how much I stopped caring about this because I had no freaking idea that it was even coming out. Sorry, go ahead.
Means you can play it for free.
I know. Anyways, you can preload this beta on February. I don't even know if you're preloading the beta. You might be preloading the game. I'm not sure. You can preload on the 6th. And you can start playing on the 7th.
Yep, right through to the 11th.
Thanks, because you can start. These are all the different times. Time zones are hard. Let's just stick with Eastern Pacific, because that makes the most sense. Oh, it's not even up here. Eastern's not even up here.
No, you've got PT because Skull and Bones. Sorry, somebody in the YouTube chat. So Solomon's asked, what game is this? So Skull and Bones is the massive high seas adventure game that was meant to come out 2 or 3 years ago and to rival Sea of Thieves, but it just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and it's now got a release date of 16th of February with an open beta beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was very excited about this game, but as Sean said, it's been delayed a lot, and it's not that I don't know if it's better or not. I haven't seen a lot about it since it got its one big delay that I don't know kicked it back about a year, but there is a beta coming out, so it's really hard for me to say no, and it's a long beta. I mean. You got, almost 4 days? 4 days to try it? The 7th to the 11th to get sucked in? And I mean, do I want to get sucked in? Kinda. I love a good pirate game. Why not give it a shot? I mean, yeah. So, I probably will. Thanks a lot, Sean. Thanks a lot. I didn't realize it was coming out on the 16th. I lost me. Totally did. So there you go. You got a beta you can preload on the 6th and start playing on the 7th, 6 p.m. Pacific time. You have to play by the 11th, 3 p.m. Pacific time if you want to give it a shot. So those, my friends, are the end of our news bulletins. Our feature story right here. We learned a little bit late for us, we had already podcasted, that of the 1900 cuts, there were quite a few of them that came down to the physical media department. So we thought we would have a conversation about physical media. We had a conversation a couple weeks ago about trade-ins and the fact that Sean has a store that is kind of closing down their trade-ins. It's called Game, right? Is that did I get that
Yep,
right? Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah, so Game, which is kind of like their GameStop for us here in America, is closing down their trade-ins. We chatted about, is that something that we think we're gonna see more of? Could GameStop do that? We haven't heard anything that way. But so the story is, just to kind of read a little bit, according to Windows Central's Jez Gordon, Microsoft has also shut down departments dedicated to bringing Xbox games to physical retail, which, if you've seen the digital-only Xbox console leaks, well, you can kind of get an idea of where Microsoft is going. He says, note, reducing retail teams doesn't confirm Microsoft is quitting physical retail for Xbox games yet. They can outsource and might be consolidating here, so don't run with Xbox is quitting physical. Too late, we already did, based on this, but it does seem to be the industry trajectory written on the wall. Do you think they're quitting physical?
I think they are looking, as he has put, to outsource for now, which to me, when a large company like Microsoft, who, spent a long time and many, many decades making games, releasing them themselves, because obviously they can foot the cost for that and they could include it in the cost of taking the games to physical retail, they can kind of foot the cost of that and make it cheaper. If you outsource it, you have to, usually when you contract something out, you are paying a little bit more than you should be paying, because people need to make money. People need to pay for jobs and stuff like that. So to me, shutting it down in-house and outsourcing it, or contracting it out, is basically what outsourcing means. Contracting it out for somebody else to go and make it for them means that they are at some point going to look at ceasing that contract.
Yep.
Which to me, and like he says, the writing is on the wall. I believe at some point in the near future, we're going to see Xbox and Game Pass separate. And I think that Game Pass is the direction that Xbox or Microsoft Studios is going to take its media. I think it is going to go all digital. And I think most gaming is going to be done via digital. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see it with PlayStation and Sony. I think we're going to see it with Nintendo. I think the fact that you've got such a large base of people that use Steam to purchase games on the PC, you don't see people buying it. Like, I haven't seen a physical copy of a PC game for years. And the last time I ever played a physical PC game was Toonstruck. And that's saying something, because that's an old game.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think you're 100% right. Is it going to be this generation? Probably not. Is it going to be the next generation? Yeah, probably. I mean, you outsource stuff that you don't plan to do forever, or that isn't a main part of your business strategy moving forward, right? I mean, it might cost a little bit more, but that way, when you're done doing it, you can just be done doing it, and there's no real angst. You just quit the contract, like you said. Yeah, I think you're 100%. I think you're 100% right. They're just prepping. They looked at these cuts and they said, "Oh, we got to do so many cuts, and this is going to be some real bad PR, and we can have bad PR now with this acquisition and these like overlap roles, and then we can have bad PR in like 2 or 3 years when we cut all of the physical departments and say we're done with this, or we can just do it now and outsource it and then have one, real bad PR moment instead of 2 separate ones." And I think that's exactly the way they went. And so, I mean, I have said I'm not much of a physical player. I disagree in one stance with what you said. And that is, I don't know that Nintendo will end up going that way. I really don't. I mean, they will at some point, but it won't be in a generation. It's not going to be a Switch 2. If they announce Switch 2 and they're like, listen, ain't no physical no more, my mind will literally like melt out of my ears. That's what'll happen. I'll have to like soup it back up and put it back in. But I think they'll be physical for quite a bit longer, and maybe it'll help them. I mean, if you walk down a physical aisle and the only physical games you see is Nintendo, well, I mean, I don't know. Then if your grandma and papa or grandma and grandpa, and you're like, or aunt and uncle, and you don't know much about games, you're like, well, I guess we'll get the Nintendo thing because that's all I see. So that would be my only point of contention. I don't know about PlayStation. I get the feeling they're kind of going that way too, but again, I'm not in that ecosystem enough to really like have any real thought one way or another, to be honest. So,
well, I'm going to put it this way. Like, we talked about mid-gen refresh a couple of episodes ago, and the fact that Sony were coming out with a mid-generation console of the PlayStation 5 where you could buy a slim version. They were coming as slimmer versions, one discless, one with a disc drive. But for the discless one, you could go out and purchase an external disc drive that would plug in, and you could still run your disc games if you wanted to. I don't know if it was naivety in me or what, but something can't turn around and said to me, "Oh, look, Sony were already trying the digital only thing by releasing a mid-gen console." And then, like, I literally just sat here while you were talking, then I had a realization that Microsoft have already done that. Xbox released the Series X and the Series S, which was a discless and like a high-end disc and a discless console.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw the discless console sell like hotcakes. They did, because it was a cheaper one that you could buy. You could get it into entry level, into next gen, and you just didn't have as big a hard drive, but you had it was discless, so all your media had to be digital. So they've probably seen a really big rising sale of digital media and subscriptions to Game Pass, because that is all digital. You don't need a disc. And then they've continued to see digital sales grow. I think I've read somewhere that they've seen like a 49% increase in digital sales over the last 12 months or 18 months or something like that compared to last year.
Mm-hmm.
Game Pass subscriptions always continue to go climb because people are coming into the ecosystem because of the day one release games and big names and stuff like that. I can see that already happening and already going in that direction. I can't, like you say, I can't see Nintendo doing it straight away, but with the recent releases of Nintendo games, they've been putting them in, and they've needed to do an update straight away, which when you look into that update, it's downloading extra files for the game to be able to play. So the tiny little cart that you get with a Nintendo game doesn't hold enough memory for them to allow you to play the full game. So what's the point in producing a plastic case with a plastic cart for you to have in your hand? And all this is cost. If you look at it, cost, like I put my business Justin hat on, as we used to call it when we worked with the Nintendo. So I put his hat on, and I think to myself, if I can reduce the amount of outgoings I have when it comes to producing a game, for the fact that I have to physically put this thing on a cart and paper and artwork and boxes, and I have to send it off, and plastic's bad for the environment. So it's always got people coming at me that, you're still making plastic, blah, blah, blah. And they can stop doing that, then they'll do it. And Tim in the chat makes a really good point, is like, why don't they just do limited runs of these games? So, for the collectors out there, yes, we are still going to make a physical copy of your game, and it's going to come with X, Y, and Z, and you get like a collector's edition kind of box with a few different bits and pieces, but it is limited run. So we will only make 1,000 of these games to go out there, and then that is it. They are out there. So if you want it, go buy it. If you don't buy it, but you will struggle to get it at a later date, and it will probably cost more. They make the 1,000, cut it. They can outsource all that. They don't have to do it in-house. And they'll probably make more money from that 1,000 physical sales because of the collector's stuff than they would out of making 100,000 games without the collector's stuff.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know the difficulty of keeping the DVD drive in the Xbox to play the game. Like, is there any differential in code between doing it between downloading it or having it on a disc? If there's not, then yes, I think they will certainly do the collector thing like they're doing already. There's no way that they want to give up selling you a metal box for Starfield with the stuff and the thing and all the stuff. So yeah, they'll do pre-orders for collectors boxes like that, and because it makes them money. And when you talk about stores and why does it even matter, because you have to download anyways, you're 100. I think you're right about that. The only thing it matters, Xbox right now is probably doing focus groups saying, you heard about our games. Did you hear about it because you walked down Walmart's aisles, or did you hear about it because you turned on your Xbox? Because if enough people say, yeah, I didn't know about that game until I walked down Walmart's or GameStop's or Games or Target's or whoever's aisles, then they're like, well, shoot, we still need that box, which is now pretty much just marketing, right? I mean, you're paying for a box to give to a retailer. You're taking that cut, or you're letting the retailer take that cut so that they can put it on their shelf. People walk down and see it. But the thing is, there's so much advertising now on dashboards of, what's going on. I mean, there's a ton. So most gamers are not learning about games anymore by walking into a brick and mortar store. They've heard it on YouTube, on X, on Instagram, when they turned on their console and Xbox or Nintendo or PlayStation told them. So yeah, there's not much reason to have the box anymore. And I think that's becoming very evident. And so I think it is writing on the wall. Tim, who's really chatting it up, we always appreciate it when we're chatting. He says Nintendo will not do a hard stop of physical, which I completely agree. But he could see them come out with an updated version of Switch 2 that is digital only a few years later. That would kind of blow my mind, but I could see it. My only other point, and then I'll be done. Let you take the floor. My only other point is I really do think the Brooklyn's coming, which is the X that is digital only. And Xbox is going to let those two sit on shelves together, digital or otherwise, and see what sells. Because I think when they sat in a boardroom, they said, there is no way that high-end gamers are going to want a digital-only console. So we have to include a drive. But now, I think they're kind of sitting back going, we might have been wrong about that. We just might have been wrong about that. So now they're gonna put the two out, and I bet see which one sells the best. And if the Brooklyn sells better, and nobody fusses too much about it, then I think they're really gonna have the way that they want to go in the future, and they're gonna know that they're on solid footing to do it. So,
yeah, if they sold the Xbox Series X with a discless and digital version, and there was a price difference between those, at the time that I bought it, I would have gone for the discless X.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the Blu-ray media, that the DVD or digital media that I have that isn't games, that is all movies and films and stuff like that and box sets, I don't watch as much anymore. Like, the only ones I'd probably go back to is Dexter and Breaking Bad, and like, mainly because I can't get those as box sets on things like Netflix and Amazon and stuff. But if I was forced, I'd look at trying to buy the box set digitally if I could.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't, like, they are ones that I do watch quite often. I do go back through and blast through Breaking Bad quite often because it's an absolute masterpiece. But I have the Batman series, the Christopher Nolan Batman series with Christian Bale as Batman. I have those on Blu-ray, which I sometimes revisit. I was starting to collect all the Marvel films on Blu-ray until Disney Plus started, and now what's the point in me purchasing all the Marvel films when they are there for me to do? So, like, my kids don't use DVD. Well, I think Jay uses DVDs still, but she likes to collect old horror movies, which you can't get again on subscription services. But she would get the DVD, watch it once, and then just leave it, not use it anymore. I can't remember the last time Emily inserted a disc into the Xbox to watch a Disney film or to watch any film.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that side of being able to have a disc drive is becoming pretty useless to me. It's not Like, I don't need it. Most of my family videos and family movies are now all because I can use them. Like, my phone's got a fantastic camera. Like, I don't use external hard drive. Like, I don't use an external device for filming stuff that doesn't do, like, where I have to burn that to a disc to watch it somewhere. I can just cast it straight to the TV.
Yeah, right.
So the need for physical media, not just games, but for movies and stuff like that, is becoming slowly dwindled out by all these various subscription services. And I think gaming's going exactly the same way. So if Brooklyn comes out, and if the next generation of Xbox comes out, when it comes out, not if, when it comes out, and it's got a greater processing power, and bits and pieces like that, where it can handle things quicker, a larger hard drive. Because I still fill the Series X. It's sat here at the moment. I've got 391 gigabytes free, but it's because I'm playing Brotato, which was 500 megabytes, not even half. It was half a gigabyte to download. But I've got Far Cry 6 on there, Forza Motorsport, Resident Evil 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Minecraft. So I've got big games on there, but if I didn't have a disk drive, I'd need more space for all my games. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they come out with the next generation console that's diskless, and as powerful or more powerful than the Series X. I'd go that way. I'd go diskless. I would. What? The same with the Switch. I'd go diskless on the Switch, or cartless. Mm-hmm. Even though it's only a tiny little thing, doesn't take much room inside the actual device, I'd still go cartless. I haven't bought a physical game for the Switch since Mario Wonder. And I only got that because I wanted to be able to transfer it between mine and Logan's Switch. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is, I will say, one of the differences. So, like, if we have Brooklyn, we'd have two. But we'd have two if I bought the diskless X. So just in case I had not prefaced this, when we're talking about Brooklyn, that's a diskless Series X that they're talking about, kind of in a cylinder shape. It was rumored a while back in the leak. It wasn't rumored. It was a leaked kind of draft of something in the FCC leak that came out half a year ago or so. So we don't know if it was real or unreal or if they've changed it a bunch, or we don't know anything about it. But that's what we're referencing, a diskless Series X. So if I bought the Series X diskless, we'd have two, because I'd keep the S, keep it probably down here, and put the X upstairs. And that would be great. But Nintendo is in a different boat because, like, I have a family friend who's got 4 of them. He's got 3 kids. He has his own. So yeah, they're in a different position, and being able to move that cart is very important when you have kids.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, and I feel that, like, before Noah and Ariel got older, I was like, everything's digital, man. Everything's not digital anymore. Let me tell you, because I'm like, now we got to figure out who bought what and why and how that matters, and that's a pain. So, but yeah, I do think next generation is digital. All the way, especially because gamers are also getting savvy to the sales, right? Like, when this podcast started, we used to try to give you the sales of what Xbox was doing, but it became too impossible. Like, Xbox always has a sale, and Game Pass Tracker, our X account, does a great job. So if you're ever wondering, they do a great job of kind of telling you when there's another big sale and giving you a link so you can go to it. I mean, Xbox always has 200-300 games on sale that are not on sale in retail. And gamers know that now. They're not dumb to that fact. And so a lot of times, they know that the big game they see that maybe came out like 2-3, maybe a month, let's say a month ago, they know they can probably go online already and get it for a sale, unless it's a Nintendo game, because that ain't happening. But which is another resale value thing we could really get into here too. But for most publishers, they cut that price after a month, 2 months. You're already seeing a discount on that game so that they can still push numbers. And so, but you don't see that generally. You don't see that on the retail side. It sits on the shelf for the same price it did when it launched. So I think for all those reasons, you'll see digital. You'll see digital for Xbox. Digital only for Xbox.
Yeah. My one last thing as well with this is, like, we've seen the physical meetup of gamers every year for E3 diminish because of COVID. We saw it. It had to stop for COVID. The ability to go out to stores to buy physical games diminish because of COVID. And then for the UK, I know you're not seeing the same sort of thing in the US, but in the UK, having game like this month, this February, cease trade-ins means that physical media that I've now bought has also now lost some of its value, because for me, I can't go and trade it in to recoup some of my money to put it towards new games, because there's nowhere taking it anymore. Yes, I could privately sell them on Facebook Marketplace or Vinted or other like outlets where you can resell stuff, but that's a niche market. I know, like, at least I know when I walk into game with my game, I'm going to be like, here you go, and I'm going to have a value of whatever it's worth for them to resell. You try and sell something on Facebook Marketplace, and there's either that many of them out there that it doesn't get seen, or you have to deal with the human population in terms of, yeah, I'll buy that, and then they ghost you, or like coming in with stupid offers and stuff, which just absolutely devalues the product that you're trying to sell. So that's the other thing for me that's kind of ruined, is that the worth of having a physical media, for me anyway, is diminished massively by the fact that I can't trade things in. So I don't collect stuff like that. I wish I could. Like, if you could see the rest of the living room, it's not designed for a gamer to collect things. It's very much decorated by Mrs. Abbott. But so I don't have.
She does
a
fine job, by the way. I've seen pictures of your house.
She does. Yes, we have one thing we're allowed, and that's Logan's, and it's the wooden Luigi figure that he purchased from like a wood maker that had made like tiny little figures of stuff, and it sits on the bookshelf. It looks like Bob from Bob's Burgers dressed up as Luigi, but it looks okay. It fits. It sits in the house. But yeah, I don't collect things like that. So like I have no need for the physical media, and I think it's kind of coming at a right time for me. For it going all digital. The kids are at a point now where they only like certain games, and like, especially with the Switch, the Mario Wonder was probably the last one that I'll buy for a while, because I know if I bought it for the Switch that gets used in the house, Logan's at an age now where I could trust him to take the Switch out of the dock and play it rather than having to have his own. And he is becoming more akin to playing games on the TV. So like, he started to pick up the Xbox controller and play Goat Simulator, and what was the other one he was playing? Fortnite Lego the other day. On the Xbox, sorry, rather than on his Switch.
Yeah.
So he's stepping away from handheld. So
the only thing that came to me that I have left to say on this topic is the only bummer about going discless is you lose the connection, right? Like the midnight launches. I mean, I used to know my GameStop people, like my GameStop employees. Like I used to like know their names, because I would come in there on the regular to buy whatever the next drop was, right? Whatever the next game was. I used to know customers, because we would come in there at the same time, or we would be at the midnight launch. That is a bummer to see that go. And it's just another thing where it's like, you know, get involved with the Game Pass tracker community so that you have gamers. That's great, but we want you here. We love the viewers and listeners, but there's something about like being able to be shoulder to shoulder with another gamer and be like, oh yeah, it's coming out, I can't wait, I saw this video, or I saw that, or it's gonna be fun. And those are dying out, and they only die out a bit more when there's no need to go to a store to get a physical copy of anything. So that's my last. That's probably one of my biggest like bummers about seeing physical media come.
Yeah, and that's because we've grown up doing that. Like I grew up with being able to go and hire a game. So you used to go to your video store, and they had a section just for video games where you could hire it. So not only could you were avoiding the purchase of it, but you could go and rent this game for like a weekend. So you could go in, you could like really giddy as a kid. I can remember my dad used to take me on a Friday. He'd be gonna go get a movie for my mum and him to watch, and like they'd hire like a PlayStation 1 game, because at the time that's what we were hiring. So they'd hire a PlayStation 1 game for me to play while they were watching their movie. And it's like, I used to go in, I used to get excited, and I'm like the people that run the video store probably saw me as a nerdy little kid that was like overexcited for the new release of this game. But I used to love it. I used to talk to the people behind the desk. There used to be other kids in there that I went to school with that were like being taken for exactly the same reason. But so yeah, like that, and like you say, the midnight launches, the queuing. I can remember queuing up outside game in York City Centre at midnight with a load of other gamers all waiting. I think it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare probably that was coming out. I can remember going in, and I can remember everybody, like the whole store being rammed, and everyone's like, the guys behind the desk like counting down to when they can sell the game, and everyone's cheering and stuff. It's like, yeah, you're gonna lose all that.
Yeah, that's my biggest bummer. Anything else before we move to the dashboard?
No, let's go talk about some games.
Dashboard it is. Welcome to the dashboard, where we talk about what we've been playing and what's on our docket to play in the week upcoming. Sean, what have you been playing?
So I've been still heavily leaning into Power World. I think I said last week that I was going to give it a try via the cloud. I gave it a try via the cloud. And it works really well. I had no lag.
You got me. I really thought you were going to be like, and it was awful. Sorry, go on.
No, I had no lag. The graphics weren't as great as they were on the console, but that's just, as by the power, I'm playing a game on the move via the cloud. And I was having to use my phone as well, and to hotspot my phone, so I was using it via my mobile device as a router. And it played really well. The auto-save feature worked really well. When I came back to playing it on the console, it did the whole, we need to synchronize this save before we can play. It did that, launched straight into it. That was great. I have fallen out with the game ever so slightly, but that's just because of my own stupidity. I died in a cave. It took me a while to get through that cave, which was a bit of a maze. And the one thing they don't do in Power World is when you enter a cave or a dungeon that's got lots of different rooms, is they don't give you a dungeon map. So when I died, and I could be wrong. When I've entered boss fights, when I've died in the boss fight, my little item bag is sat outside the teleporter, which takes me into the boss fight. And it's the same in the first tower. When I died in the first tower as part of the tutorial, my little item bag was sat outside it. I haven't loaded the game back up to go back and see, because I got that frustrated, and in my head I was like, crap, I've died. It took me freaking ages to get there, and like it was a big maze, and like I've lost my crossbow, I've lost all my good armor, I've lost like all the stuff that I was getting. So annoying. I haven't loaded the game back up to go in and see if it's just sat outside the entrance to the cave or not. It could be, it might not be, but I got it in my head that that's how it was going to be, and I turned the game off in frustration. I haven't been back to it since.
Been there.
Excuse me. And then the other game I've been playing, which came out yesterday. Well, when did it come out? I've got it on
today.
Stocking, right?
Came out. Well, yesterday for you.
Today. Yeah. Brotato. This game's hilarious. We talked about it last week about how it was going to be like Survivor IO, where you were just running around auto shooting, blah blah blah. It is exactly like that. It is one of them where, and then I haven't found a reason to press any of the buttons yet. I haven't checked the controls, which I should do really. But the only control that you need while you're doing a run is the left analog stick. Everything auto fires. You run around collecting little green coins. Occasionally trees pop up that if you destroy the trees, you get extra coins and collections. And at the end of every wave, if you've leveled up, you get to pick up a new perk, which might add 5% speed or 3% damage or do this, do that, the other. You could do that, and then you go into like a purchasing menu where you can buy extra weapons. You can buy other perks and stuff like that, which like might age your damage but lower your armor and things like that. It all runs like that. really good fun. I played it for about 2 hours before we started because I thought I'd load it. I honestly thought I'd load it up and I'd be like, yeah, this is playing like a mobile game, and come out of it and go back to Palworld. But I played it and I was like, yeah, this is like a mobile game. But there's so much more depth to it, and there's so much more that I need to figure out, and so much more that I need to kind of lean into a bit and learn. And then 2 hours passed, and we needed to podcast, and I was like, oh. But yeah, it's good fun. Very, very simple, but works really, really well. I can't say any more other than go try it. If you like games like Vampire Survivors, Survivor IO, go in and try it. The only thing I will say, and I said this to Nick before we started, and it kind of turned Nick off a little bit, is other than unlocking different versions of the potato to play as. So like, and they all have different attributes. So some might have like, there's a mage one which has really, really good environmental damage for like fire and ice and stuff like that. But their long range weapon and melee damage is like cut by half, and they move slower because it looks like an old potato. So all those kind of things are in there and added to it. That's the only thing that you can progressively unlock. That, and if you finish a full set of runs, you get like an increased difficulty.
Let's make it harder. So what you're saying is, while you're doing a run, you can upgrade your potato, your brotato, to be better and better and better, right?
Yep, that's correct.
But then once you die, you basically start back from scratch. There's nothing that helps you get better or be better to progress the next time.
That's also correct. Yeah. Other than the knowledge of like these weapons do better and like and ways to play. And so the only balance I've got at the moment is it's really good to have. You can carry as your basic brotato. You can carry 6 weapons. I'm balancing it that I'm having 3 melee weapons and 3 ranged weapons. That way, when you're moving around, when you run into a large horde of these aliens that you're destroying, you can wipe them out with the melee weapons. And then as you're moving around faster, you can pick out ones with ranged weapons. It's a good balance. So there is a brotato that I've seen that like you can unlock 20 weapons and have them all at once. But I think he likes, there's something like you can have 20 weapons, but you have 3% less damage per weapon that you have. So you might have shit tons of weapons, but you don't do very much damage.
Yeah. You got BB guns for weapons.
Spud guns.
Spud guns, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm glad you're loving it. I will probably not get to it, but what is on your
dock? It'd be a great game to play if I had a backbone. Like, and you could just slam the phone in.
It's just funny.
So like you could just slam the phone into the backbone and play it via the cloud, like a mobile game, but with more depth.
Grow a backbone,
so
John.
It's an awesome. Grow a backbone. I am all floppy. No, there's that. Games that are on my docket. I've got Turnip Boy loaded up, Resident Evil 2 installed, and Rise of the Tomb Raider all kind of sat there waiting to go, as well as wanting to play a little bit more Lego Fortnite because of what you're about to tell everybody.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I've been playing Lego Fortnite is my new Coral Island. Sorry guys. So at least you no longer have to hear about that, but now every week you get to hear my Lego Fortnite. So when you get to, Sean, you got to get to Flexwood. Okay. It all changes when you get to Flexwood. You get there, and then you get the wheels, and you can add it to the dynamic foundation, and then you can start tooling around. It's like Tears of the Kingdom type stuff, like meets Fortnite meets Lego, all like meshed into this lovely ball of fun. And so we're making cars. I'm hoping that at some point we unlock an axle. That's the only thing I'm going to say, because right now we can't really turn. I'm trying to figure out ways to turn cars. The physics is great. I sent Sean a picture. We're trying to like put a house on a foundation that then we lift up with balloons, and we can fly around this gigantic map to different places we want to. Okay, sounds great. We got to figure out ways to down thrust, and there's just a lot of stuff, but it's everything I love about like a building crafty game. And so, but the physics are such that I put the balloon on two foundations hooked together and nothing happens. And I'm like, well, okay. And I told Noah, I was like, okay, well, apparently we need more than one balloon for two foundations. I said, that's going to make things a little difficult, but we'll figure it out. And then I kind of pushed the foundation off of the platform I had built to create it on, and it starts to float in the air. And now this thing has a lot of stuff that we worked really hard to get, so I don't want it to just go away, but it starts floating so fast that I can't jump up and get to it to like hop on it or anything. And so I'm like, crap, it's flying away. Like, what am I going to do? So I quick hop into the build menu, grab another foundation, hook it to that foundation so that it's heavy enough that it floats back down to earth, back down to the ground. And so that's kind of fun stuff that you can do in here. And the only thing I will say that's a bummer is you really got to work to get to that stuff. Like, it's not in the front side of Lego Fortnite. We had to upgrade our town 7 times or something like that before we got there. So there's work to be done to get to that point, but man, when you do, it opens up and there's so much to do, and it's just an absolute ton of fun. So that's Lego Fortnite. When we get our house built, we'll let you know. I plan to put the video I sent Sean on my Twitter later tonight. The next game that I have been pretty addicted to, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. The sequel to Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. This one is quite a bit different than the first one. It's a roguelike. You go into the bank, you bust it up, you shake people down for money, you blow up vaults, you break statues to get their gold, and then you run out with everything you got, and you add up all that money, and then you get to buy stuff off the dark web or from some sketchy guy in the gym that'll give you upgrades to like your bullets and your health and all that stuff. And so having a lot of fun. It's got the crazy, quirky side quests from Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. I mean, they're just off the wall bonkers, but they're absolutely funny. Crazy guns, absolutely nuts. Having a ton of fun with those. The runs are quick. You get into the bank. Initially, I think you only have like 2.5 minutes or something like that. So you got to be in there. If you're in there for longer than 2.5 minutes, the like turnip police show up. And they start making life real difficult for you, and it's unlikely that you'll get out. If you don't get out of the bank, you lose anything you've grabbed, any trinkets or stuff that might be money, or all your guns that you grabbed. You lose all of that, and you lose half of your money. And so it's a risk and reward of like how long do you stay in the bank and start scooping money up and grabbing stuff, and how fast do you need to get out so that you can do other things. The game is fantastic. Absolutely loving it. Hopefully get to play some more tonight. Next, Go Mecha Ball. I played that yesterday on my backbone, actually. So I played it on the cloud, and it is fun. I had a good time with it, but I was a little confused. Like, I was buying abilities, but yet they weren't showing up. So I'm unclear. They weren't showing up when I played again. So I'm unclear if it's like Brotato, where like the abilities you're getting are one and done, or if I just the menu was not well laid out. But the idea of being a ball and being able to bash things and then hop out of a ball and shoot things and then back into a ball and roll around, feels really good. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's a little chaos. They do the waves, same as what you're talking about, Sean, of like, you have, I think it's like 4 or 5 waves before you go again. My biggest tip to you really frustrated me the first time. I went through, I died. So you go through a tutorial initially. Then you get sucked into the world. You play a world. I died, like 3rd wave in. I get spit back out. It spits you out right next to where the tutorial sign is. And so I was like confused. I was like, so I got to go do this tutorial again? I went through, now it's not a long tutorial, especially the second time around, because I just buzzed through it. It probably took like 3 or 4 minutes. So it wasn't like the end of the world amount of time. But I went through and did the entire tutorial again and then got to get back in the world. And I was like, well, that was fun, but I don't know why I have to do the tutorial every time. If you just go down after you've done the tutorial, the door is unlocked. So you can just kind of slide down and go straight into the world. But that's not very obvious. So if you're like me and you did the tutorial and you just keep doing it, you don't have to. You can just go down. And that'll make the game way more fun for you than it did for me for the first few runs. But that's my pro tip. But so those are the 3 games that I've played this week. I do plan on loading up Anuchard, and I could read about it, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go in mysterious. I got one like paragraph snippet. I'm just gonna download it and see what craziness ensues from this game. So that's what I've been playing. That's what's on my docket. Anything else, Sean, before we go into Papardi chat?
No, let me go and ask you some questions because I have questions.
Oh, Sean's got questions. Here we go.
It's party time! Woohoo! Oh, yeah!
That button still doesn't work. One day, Sean, I'm going to fix that button. I'm going to say this every podcast until I actually get it done. It'll be a celebration. Welcome to the party chat where it's just Sean and I, chatting. So if you're in chat, you want to say, hey, you got some questions, you got some things, let us have them. Just whatever it is. We'll read them out. It'll be fun. But Sean, you have questions. So, well, what are they?
Well, there were 2 questions, but one of them I had to kind of learn on the fly during the week. So I don't know if you're ready to talk about that in the podcast yet, but the Detroit Lions faced off against the 49ers in the 3rd playoff, I believe. This is where my football knowledge when it comes to American football gets rid. So you played it in the 3rd
third
playoff
game
that would have got you
conference game.
3rd game that would have potentially got you into the Super Bowl.
If we had won it, we'd have been in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
We did not, in case anybody's wondering. We didn't win it. Despite being up 17 points at the half, we couldn't frickin' do it. God bless you all. I love you. I do love you, Lions. I've been blessed to see 2
I was going to ask
Go ahead.
questions regarding the rules around American football, but I kind of learned them on the run. I was watching somebody reacting to the live because I while at work I couldn't get the live video, so I was just every now and then jumping in and watching a Lions fan who was very, very nicely streaming to YouTube. It's called Lions Chat. It was what I was watching. I mean, that's the name of the channel I was watching, and he had a really nice graphics with the scores and stuff, and showing like how far through the field the ball had got for each down and stuff like that. So I was learning on the fly all different things, mate. So I was going to ask questions about that, but I've kind of learned all those. So the question I have is like, it's Super Bowl Sunday, February 11th. Lindsay and Jay both are following the Kansas City Chiefs at the moment. So we are going to be doing Super Bowl Sunday, and I know we always have really good discussions about this. What kind of snacks, what kind of food should we be making? Obviously, considering it's 11:30 at night in the UK.
Right.
What kind of snacks and so we're saving ourselves for this. This is when we're going to have all our food. This is going to be like the main part of the day where we eat and enjoy all the calories that you can consume during watching something like this. But what kind of foods do you eat during Super Bowl Sunday?
Well, first off, I freaking love that you guys are having a Super Bowl Sunday. Like, I think it's absolutely amazing. Let me just say that, okay? I mean, how many people do you think actually do a Super Bowl Sunday over in the UK? I mean, I know we play a couple games over there now, but
more than you think.
Really? Okay.
I work with a guy that follows the Green Bay Packers, so he'll be watching it. I know that for a fact. I've got another friend who I went to school with. He follows the American football as well as English football or soccer. But yeah, probably more than you think. I see a lot of people as I'm walking. Like I was walking around. I went and did the food shop the other day, and there was a guy that walked past me. This is the This was Sunday, actually. And he walked past me and he was wearing a 49ers bobble hat. And I just wanted to punch him because, I was like,
I appreciate you. Appreciate your solidarity.
No, I honestly, like, I have ball sports. I don't have a massive following for, other than the World Cup every 4 years, because obviously I'm English and support England. But, I saw your passion for it. And, you were telling me the story that you'd only ever seen them win one playoff ever. So for them to have won two and potentially going to win three, you were really excited. So I thought, you know what, I'll give this a go. I'll listen to it. Show my solidarity for you, Nick, and the following of the Lions. So
yeah. So you got your staples like chips and stuff like that. But we do a grape. This is gonna sound really weird, so just stick with me, okay? A grape jelly and chili sauce meatball. I don't know if you've ever heard of this recipe. I'm sure it sounds gross, but you got to I don't know like if you have these things, but it's just like a can of grape jelly and a can of chili sauce. You put them together in a crock pot after you've like obviously cooked the meatballs. You throw the meatballs in and it makes a fantastic, it's not a barbecue sauce, but it makes a fantastic meatball sauce. You get the little Hawaiian rolls. Like those in my family are like, man, that's just like it. You just like that's boom. Those are fantastic. Like absolutely wonderful. And they're easy.
I literally just Googled grape jelly, and the first thing it came up with was to finish off my search was grape jelly meatballs.
Yeah. You know why? Because everybody's searched them for the freaking playoffs. Yeah. I mean, it's a great recipe. So let me see. Bacon wrapped weenies. Now I'm telling you all these good things, and I would like to point out that I'm on a really wonderful, thank you, Chubby's bracket lose weight challenge for the next 4 weeks. So my playoff food has been shite. But anyways, let's move on from that. So bacon wrapped weenies, those are that's like a staple around my house. Like you got a little crock pot of those. You can just walk by, so that you just eat some of those. Then on top of that, what I like to do is make the pigs in a blanket, but do them with the little weenies instead. And then what tastes really good, this is like magic. You take some of the jelly and chili sauce from the meatball crock pot, and you dip the weenies in a blanket in that. That's like magic. That's like magic right there. I don't even know why, but it is. It's great. You can do the old pizza thing, I mean, some people just grab some pizza, but whatever. If that's your thing, that's pretty. That's low hanging fruit, but it is what some people do. My mom likes to bring crab cakes, so they're like these little. I say crab cakes, but you got to kind of do the air quotes because they're not as you would normally think them. They're like homemade crab cakes where she makes this like crab mixture, and then she. I think it's an English muffin she puts it on, I think. So it's not like you would normally have it, but it's on an English muffin with cheese on top of it, and then she toasts the whole thing. Really good. A little bit more messy than maybe I might personally like for a game. Too filling, but it is really good. So that's just some options. A lot of times you'll get the sub. People will buy like the football looking sub and cut it up, and people have like hand versions of that. But for me, I mean, I live off of chips, the meatballs, and the weenies. And that's really, I just stuff my face with those for 3 hours and love life.
Well, I have those two things noted down. I think the ladies were thinking like nachos, chili and dip, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Tim just said it. Tim just put it down here. Nachos. I love me some nachos. Yeah. That is a great idea too.
And then the other thing I was probably going to go for was just some little burgers or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like make myself some sliders because I'm a big burger fan.
Mm-hmm.
That's been generous. I could eat a lot of burgers.
I hate there's nothing. Buffalo dip is really popular. It's like It's like a spicy, creamy dip. You if you look it up, there's like a million different ways to make it. But that's pretty popular to have out for chips, and then like a little veggie tray. That's something you see quite a bit. So
Yeah.
We're not much of an alcohol family,
myself.
but then there's like usually like a lot of people have like a ton of alcohol, but it's not anything we've really done.
That would usually I would probably have some beers reserved there, but I am still at I don't know. 1 second now. How many days since June?
Tim mentions a taco dip. He says his wife makes killer taco dip. So that actually could be pretty good. I have seen that would be a good thing. Like some people make tacos. I find them way too messy for Super Bowl. Like I don't want anything that's gonna be super messy. That's the thing. Like I don't have to put too much effort into like whatever it is. So like a taco dip is a really solid idea. Guacamole. God, I don't know. I don't know if you guys are big into guacamole over there, but that's like
Irish guacamole.
You got to tell me what that is. What's that? I don't know what that is.
Mashed potatoes.
Oh, you did. You've already told me that. We already had this guy. Damn it. I swear. You know the best thing about me? My son can tell me the same joke 7 times in a week, and I'm every time I'm like, I don't know, what is it? And then it's just great. He does it to me all the time. I have absolutely no memory, like a fish.
As I was saying, like I normally would have reserved a couple of beers for that evening, but I haven't had a beer in 216 days. So
Wow.
I'm going for the year and then probably longer. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
don't miss
that's
it. That's
normally what we would do. But now I'm just gonna probably eat some damn veggies and sit there and cry that my Lions aren't in it. So, but no, kudos to the 49ers. They did a really good job.
I've said to Lindsay that I'm going to buy a Lions jumper and sit and watch the Super Bowl in a Lions jumper in respect. So
Yeah. Yep. They came out, and and I told you before it even happened. I sent it to you, and I said, man, Kyle Shanahan can make adjustments, and oh boy, did he make adjustments. I mean, he shut down everything, and then we lost our confidence, and then we dropped everything, and that was the game. So
I think it started, and I watched the first quarter, and you were 12 up by the end of the first quarter, and then I had a meeting where we had to sit down for a while, and we were discussing a couple of things at work, and then I came back, and it was like 24-24. They were even, and I was like, I messaged you. I was like, what happened? What's happening?
Yeah.
Why is it so bad? So.
Yeah, it was really killer, and they're a younger team. Obviously, never been in that position. Most of them haven't. I think our quarterback. I think Jared Goff has made it that far with the Chargers. I believe, no, the Rams, because they swapped with Stafford. So I believe he has kind of been there once before, but most of the team had not. That's a lot of pressure, and. You start seeing light at the end of the tunnel, and you get nervous. And Goff went to the Super Bowl with the Rams. Okay, well, I knew something like that happened, Tim. I mean, this isn't a damn football podcast. Give me a break. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, the thing this was going to be the next. Like, okay, we have gone far away from the game here, but this is like. Yeah, this is the time where me and Nick get to sit down. Usually we talk about like what we've been doing with kids, but today it's football, cricket. Do you see them like so next year? Will they go like between now and when do they have to play to get entered into the playoffs, or do they automatically get entered in because I don't know how that works.
Oh no, it's a clean slate, man. Nothing's given in the NFL. You got, I mean, the NFL. What I love about it is it's 17 games now, I believe it is. And every game, when you only play 17 games, like every game is just so important in the regular season. So nope, they don't. Doesn't matter if you won the Super Bowl or you came 0-16, clean slate the next year. Doesn't matter. You get no benefits for the next season, except for the only benefits you get is like the team who did the worst in the regular season will get to pick first in the draft, so potentially get the better players in the draft. So that's the only kind of benefits you get towards the next season. But when it comes to rankings or anything like that, so they'll have to fight. And yeah, it won't be, we were having like a little conversation. It won't be as easy for them next year, for sure. They got, I think, some passes. And I would look at the Chiefs, to be honest, and say they got a bit of a pass with the Chiefs. As much as they are a really good team, I don't think the Chiefs thought they didn't walk in there thinking we're playing a championship team. They walked in thinking we're playing the Lions, and they got rolled in the first game, in the first week. So now nobody's gonna walk in thinking we're just playing the Lions. They're gonna think, crap, we're playing a championship team. Let's look at all the tape and figure it all out. So yeah, it'll be harder. They can still do it, but it'll be harder.
So when you say they look at the tape, does that mean they'll go back and look at all the previous games and how they played, what they did, their tactics, the strategies, that kind of thing?
Yeah. And I mean, not that the Chiefs didn't probably look at some stuff and make some strategies, but that game, they didn't walk into that game thinking that they were going to play a team that was going to put up the fight that they did. So, they'll look at all the tape, see where all the blitzes are coming from, see where the soft secondary is, see when they play man to man, do all that stuff that they do, and it'll be interesting to see with the extra scrutiny of coaches on them if they can still make it back there.
Yeah. So that was going to be the lead into the next thing is, do you see them doing as well next year?
I think they can do as well. I think they definitely can. I believe they're a pretty young team. Tim, you can tell me if I'm wrong. But I believe that most of their players are coming back as I know it. I think they are losing their offensive coordinator, I think. So that might be a blow to them. But I think they can certainly do as well, but they'll almost have to do better because of the extra attention that making it to the championship game or to the conference game got them.
All right. Fair enough.
Hopefully, it's not 30
I'm
years.
excited. Like,
I hope it's not 30 years.
I follow them on TikTok now. I think I follow their Facebook page, so I will probably keep an eye on their training. It seems to sit really well with the off season with the Formula One. So it's like I could do American football during the off season of the Formula One, then follow the Formula One during the off season of the American football. It works perfect.
There you go. Listen, Lions, you need to sponsor us. That's all needs to happen here. See, look at we got a follower across the pond for you people. So we need a sponsorship here. Make it happen, Dan Campo.
Brilliant. Have we got anything else for the pie yet? I mean, this suddenly turned into Detroit Lions chat. That's right. Sponsored by Game Pass Tracker Show.
And Tim agrees. So they are a young team, and what sucks is the other teams in our division will be even more competitive. So a division title is definitely going to be harder. So Tim agrees. So we'll see. Hey, I would like to say I am very excited. Our chat blew through our chat box. I think that might be the first time that's ever happened. So thanks, Tim. We appreciate that. Like, it just like I need a graphic that shows it just
broke
like
the scene.
It's like, so yeah, it just broke the scene, and I love it. I think it's great. Break it more often. I absolutely have nothing else. I appreciate all the questions, though. I don't talk football much anymore, to be honest. So
well, this is the thing is when I don't know about something and I suddenly gain an interest, be it because for you, I want to support you. I want to feel the same emotions you feel. I want to go through that with you. So, like, I will then go into it and learn everything I need to learn about it.
Yeah. Well, I will. I can't wait to watch the Super Bowl. We can chat back and forth. We were chatting back and forth, and Sean should go watch Barry Sanders highlight reels. He was a dancer. He was the last time we made it this far was he was our running back. He's a pretty pretty well-renowned running back in the NFL league, despite the team he played for. He got us there once before. So I don't remember what I was saying, but I'm excited to watch Super Bowl. We can chat back and forth like we did with the conference game, and so that's cool. Enjoyed all the food.
Yeah.
I will see if I can hit up some extra recipes for you, maybe some stuff I missed. Tim, hit up Sean if I missed a good recipe, if I missed a good dish. Hit him up. So yeah.
Yep. I'm all up for that. So yeah, anyway, that rolls a show. I'm super excited for the Super Bowl. I'm excited for that. I found something else to be excited for rather than motorsport for once. So this is fun for me. I like it.
Cool.
If you want to reach out to me or Nick, you can get in touch with us on X. Nick is at Nick1010DOH. That's Nick Tendo, and I am at Sean_Abbott. If you want to send us an email, we both have access to the show at GamePassTracker.com email address. We can pick it up there. Any questions, any recipes for me? That'd be awesome. I could get recipes from anybody and everybody around the world. That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, I'm so sorry. I'm absolutely killing this outro. No. What else is there? Last thing to say? Nothing. Anyway, go play some games, everybody. Go play games and enjoy yourself. Have a good week. And until next time, we'll see you later.
See you later, guys.